is only one war that matters, and it is here.
What is up, everybody? My name is BobaTalks and welcome to a brand new Game of Thrones trailer breakdown, and this will be our last until next season, where there will be only 6 episodes and they might not even air until 2019, but hopefully we'll still be able to see it in 2018, but it might be very late 2018. Otherwise we will be waiting for a very long time for this final chapter. But between then, be sure to turn notifications on for the off-season videos so you won't miss out on any. So first of all, we see Grey Worm with the Unsullied army, which appear to be outside of King's Landing after coming back from Castle Rock for the past couple of episodes, which is more realistic travelling time than what we have experienced on the show with some other things. It also looks from this view as well that there is still a great number of Unsullied forces gathering outside King's Landing, so despite Grey Worm and the Unsullied losing quite a few men at the battle before Daenerys swooped in, they did recover and not lose as many as some would think. Not to mention, we also see the Dothraki coming in, and by the looks of this shot, this looks like a freaking huge army to fear. In this shot, we see Euron Greyjoy's fleet at the bay, and we can also see a nice shot of King's Landing as well. Now, everyone in this episode is coming together for this one important meeting, and what we're seeing through this trailer is that everybody's seemingly flexing their muscles with their armies. Now, I've seen quite a few people in the comments say they don't care for a lot of things that are going on. They just want Euron to hurry the heck back, as we haven't seen him in a while. I've got a strong feeling that something very big will happen with Euron, as we haven't seen him in a while, plus the fact that he is a pretty out there person anyway, and just judging by this shot that we see a little bit later in the trailer of Theon collapsing on his knees, this could mean that he's just learned the grave news, or even witnessed, as this could be after the meeting, of his sister being killed by Euron. Now, this wouldn't only crush Theon because of his sister being murdered, but more in the fact that he was a coward and just left her to die with Euron before. If all this takes place, then Theon is going to be in a very low place than he has been since he was even Rhaegar. We also see Tyrion facing up to arriving at King's Landing, which must be very hard for him to come to realise that all this is actually happening, and he's finally coming to terms that he's going to have to see the person who probably still wants him most dead in the world, his sister Cersei. Even though she now knows that he wasn't responsible for Joffrey's death, let's not pretend that she would not have any pleasure at all in seeing her brother dead. I mean, she definitely 100% would choose to kill him still if she could. We also see Varys and Theon with Tyrion also. Now, this is all very exciting really for every character, because it's going to be the first time that most of the main cast will be meeting each other officially and everyone all together. Then it's just interesting for most characters themselves, because for people like Tyrion, he's got a lot of bad memories buried here. Varys is returning to a place where he had quite a high standing turned traitor, but now Qyburn is in his place. And then with Theon in this shot, this could be before we see him drop to his knees. And as for Daenerys and the Dothraki and plenty of other people who have never even stepped foot anywhere near King's Landing before. Now, jumping to Sansa looking over Winterfell, and it's looking more like winter than ever. I think we're going to get a big payoff with this whole Sansa, Arya and Littlefinger storyline. It's been a bit here and there, and there's been a lot of complaints that have been made out there of how this is all unfolded with the Stark sisters, in the sense that it has seemed like an unrealistic drama between the Stark sisters, but I think it's going to come full circle and they aren't going to be fighting with each other, and it could all turn around in this finale on Littlefinger, and he may be the one to die on this final episode amongst maybe even a few other people, but Littlefinger is probably the highest death predicted person in this episode for me personally. Now, as for this location, it does look like Dragonpit, and a lot of people are pointing their fingers at Dragonpit as well. Now, as I just said, it definitely does look what Dragonpit would be like, with its huge dome-like walls that are now collapsed in, amongst other features now in ruins. Now, if you don't know what Dragonpit is, Dragonpit was a place where the Targaryens would keep their dragons, but it was reduced to flaming ruins. Now, the last royal dragons died there as a result of tens of thousands of starving small folk, led by the deranged shepherd, stormed the Dragonpit to kill the dragons within, and that's where the last dragons died, amongst many other people, as you can imagine. However, if you think of this place being a dragon pit, and then you think of Drogon, you may think you can't really imagine Drogon chilling in there, let alone a few, and that's because pit dragons never reached the size of their ancestor dragons who were raised outside of the pit. And if there's one thing we know as well with Drogon and the other dragons, they were initially, after being in that pit before, were now allowed to be raised outside the pit and have grown much, much, much bigger, just like their dragon ancestors before they were raised in the dragon pit. Now, this being the place where the meeting being held could be a mind game by Cersei to Daenerys because of the history of Dragonpit, but imagine her coming in on Drogon. Now, I don't think people there, even though they do or have been told about the 3 dragons, which are now being 2, of which Daenerys has, they probably still don't quite believe it until they see it. So I think Cersei and how she has been put across this season so far with, you know, kind of her assertion for control and her confidence won't be quite truly threatened until she actually sees one of them. Now, how awesome would it be if Daenerys makes a grand entrance to this meeting, arriving on Drogon, a dragon who is way bigger than the dragons who were kept within this dragon pit. So he will be huge in comparison, especially when you consider that he wouldn't really be a suitable size to be kept in there, and hopefully that terrifies the crap out of Cersei, which I'm sure a lot of us would like to see. At a closer look here, we see many of the main cast arriving at the meeting, now amongst them even Podrick, Brienne and Davos. I believe even Missandei is there too, and this could be kind of unwise to bring some of these extra people who aren't necessarily even needed there, because if there's one thing we know about the Game of Thrones, I'm sure this won't run completely smoothly. I no doubt think that if there isn't a trap from Cersei, I'm sure Euron might pull something out of the bag. Regardless, this meeting is going to be probably the most awkward and tense meeting you could probably ever imagine happening on the show. Just think about it for a second with all the characters that are attending. There's so many grudges, there's so many people with history, some with hidden intentions for sure, but all seemingly coming together on the surface to talk about the threat of the White Walkers. But either way, as Jon says, there is only one war that matters, and it is here. But will they listen? Either way, this was a really cool trailer for the finale, and it definitely did its job in hyping me up, and most likely every single Thrones fan out there for this final episode of the season. It's going to be incredibly exciting to see what happens, but let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the finale in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, guys, if you did enjoy it, and follow me on my social medias in the description. But apart from that, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.